Hello. The vast majority of tournament Scrabble players throughout the world oppose any form of expurgation from the official word list. Yet yesterday, WESPA, the governing body of English language Scrabble players, failed to pass a motion which would have prevented expurgation. As a consequence, 400 words of hate speech will be removed from the official word list. So, a very sad day for Scrabble fans. I won't say any more about this at the moment, but at the end of the video I will put up some documents which tell the story behind the WESPA decision, puts it into context, and, to be fair, it is about more than simply expurgation. Now, the game has started, and it's my opponent to go first. Well, I actually have quite a nice rack because I have Quaver and Quark, and if either of those plays, I should be able to get a decent score and sort the rack out. I'm not seeing anything apart from those two words. Well, there's Qua and Quare, but if I can get rid of the Q with the V, that's preferable, and in second place, getting rid of the Q with the K. And if opponent changes, then I will be putting Quaver down. It may be that neither plays, which would be annoying, but I think this rack is sufficiently balanced that there should be some Q plays available, and pretty much any Q play is going to be better than changing. And given that I have the U, retaining Q with the U would actually be worth considering. Okay, here we go. So Quaver certainly does go. Ego takes an R in front. And I could also play Quaver in rows G or I. I'm minded to play it here, 34 points. Decent score, that's going to be more, well, it's going to be close to what I would get in row G or I. Possibly the same score. Actually, there's very little difference between these plays. I am going with this. Well, an unbalanced rack. However, C and K do have some synergy, so I could play Wreck, getting rid of all my scoring tiles. Does that go anywhere? Quaver takes an S and a Y. I have Calc through the O, which gets rid of all three scoring tiles and retains the E. The rack leave after Calc would be pretty good. I have Rack through the A. Well, hopefully one of those will play, but it's possible they will both be blocked. Now, do I have a double-double through this A? Don't think I do. If opponent's got the Y, then Rack and Calc may both remain available. And if opponent's got an I, he may be drawn to column 8, because QI is good. So, which is better, Rack or Calc? 28 for Rack, 23 for Calc, but Rent is a pretty good 4-letter set. But it's only one tile, the R, better than the rack leave of ENT. I suspect there's not a huge amount between those plays, but I am drawn to Calc. Although it's only 4 tiles, a rack leave of ENRT does feel close to a bingo. Wow! Great bingo by opponent. What does Ashiest take in front? And in particular, does it take anything which I've got? And it doesn't. Well, washiest is good, so it does take the W, but rec doesn't get tripled. Wow. So I could play crew. Let me see what this scores. Well, that's 40, and it wrecks the rack. This is nothing like as good as ENRT. But I am taking out a hotspot in column 1. Ashius takes D, H, M, and W in front, so it does take a number of front hooks. So there's a good chance opponent could have one of those. Rashi is good, but it's not an adjective. I think I do need to play in this spot. So I want to put the W here. I can play new. That's interesting. I think this is not a terrible rack leave, especially with the floating vowels on the board. A, I, U, and O. And this is 46 points. This is definitely significantly better than any of the plays through A and O. Pretty good. Through an A, I would have literacy. So I do have that in row E. My Y can go after the K, so I could have a pretty hot column 2 play if there's a 5 or 6 letter one ending with Y. And there is. I have 30. So literacy is the bingo through the A. Is there a bingo through the O? No, not seeing it. What about the I? That doesn't look particularly promising. And is there a 7 here? So I've got the LY and ILY ending. Not seeing a 7. Let me consider the remaining floaters on the board. I don't have to play through. Wow, fantastic. Only 30 points for opponent, and literacy remains available. What I was going to say, and will go on to say, is that I have considered the floating vowels, but I should also consider the floating consonants, since I don't need to play through a vowel. So how about the H? No, thrisely not good. Not seeing anything through the H. What about through the S? No. And the G, Q, and V? Well, they're not going to be as good as literacy for 76. Pretty good. That could have been a lot worse. It's balanced. There may not be a bingo here, but I've got good scoring tiles in the F and the H. And they go well with the vowels I have, in particular the O's, because I have faux and hoof. And literacy has somewhat blocked the QI potential. Nowhere great for hoof. I do have it in column 10, coming down. But that's less than 20 points. I don't have any plays in column 8 ending in I or INC. My H can go underneath the E, so I do have OH, and that's not bad. The rack leave of foins, fairly balanced. And the F can contribute either to a bingo or to a good score, so OH is quite attractive, and EH only takes an S after it, which I have. IO taking an N and an S, but I would have both of those tiles, so at the moment, OH. Well, what about OF in that spot? Much better, because the H is more bingo-y. Just 20 points for opponent. Look at this, 6 points between us, so really tight game. Now flock, what's that done for me? Not very much. I do have an H for going underneath the C, but I don't have anything better than oh ho. 23 points. Actually, I can do better than of. I've got oof in this spot for 34. Great, I have hinnies. Does that play? I don't think it does. Do I have anything which does play? Floating C? No, not seeing anything there. Hinnies does play because of F. Fantastic. I have a bingo in row J. And that doesn't extend to column 15. It stops in column 14. And it remains available. Nowhere new available. So hinnies for 69. And not so great, but 7 random tiles. And I do have the Z. And I do have a couple of vowels. I have Zippo on my rack. Can't see anywhere. Fantastic for that. Flock is a pretty blocky play. The K has been played. And the C is hampering parallel plays. Still one blank to come. So I haven't identified any great Z spots. Well, always forget this, or I don't forget it, it just doesn't come to mind as quickly as other plays, but ZE is good. That came in with the latest word update. So zip, ZE and IS is over 40 points. Do I have a play in row D getting the Z doubled? No, but same point, I have biz across here, which gets rid of the B. 47 points is pretty good going. Moz is good, but I can't get it to play twice. I do have pos, 28, but 47 is significantly more than that. Zip, which did split up the duplicate P. Well, that does have merit because P not massively useful in column 15, and I, E and S are all good floaters, and I am trying to hang on to a 40-point lead. However, B and P go badly together. Double P, I think, is better than BP. Remaining tiles very bingo-y. That is pointing me towards this. 47 points for Zip. ZE takes nothing in front, so there's no huge parallel play available. Yeah, in this row D spot, I might be able to offload some of my scoring tiles there next turn. But is there anything better for my Z that I haven't considered? So I could play Zippo through the I. 36 points. Just not good enough in terms of score. I'm going with this. Great, I have the J, and I was just immediately drawn to row D to see if Job or Jibe worked, and they don't. But what does work is Jedi. Wow, that's going to be a monster play. It does retain B and P, but I don't care because the score is going to be big. And I have a lead of about 90 points. And that's encouraging because if opponent bingos, then it'll be... Oh, opponent goes in my spot. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I offer him a triple word square and he goes in my J spot. So, what to do? Do I have a play onto this P? And I don't. I think it's just Jap. Yeah. I don't see anything which I've got which ends in P. Wow, I just was not expecting opponent to play there. And it's particularly galling because I do not have an alternative J spot. However, I do still have a 50 or 60 point lead. And I guess I can play across from the O. And I can play 5 tiles, which increases my chances of drawing this blank. So I can play jibed. Well, 3 I's to come 2 O's, but I have a natural preference for the I over the O. 25 points. Is this the best I can do? 12 minutes on my clock. I'm going with this. And Job also interrupted opponent playing down onto this P, so that's another good reason. Wow, I have prairie. Does that play anywhere? Well, it doesn't, but actually that's good news because it pretty much means that there are no bingo lanes on the board. I think F takes an S, so if it does, row L for bingos beginning with S. But that's pretty much it. And with a lead of 90 points, that's quite encouraging that there are so few bingo lanes. Prairie takes a D and an S. Should a floater become available? Ow. Has opponent created a new bingo lane? Well, yes, but not one that enables me to play my bingo. Per radii is the anagram of prairied. Not seeing anything. So, I have nothing which goes after Zia, but L and S do, and there are 2 L's to come, and a load of A's, ITA being good. So this is a hotspot. It does make sense for me to play here. I do have an A. Can I turn over tiles in this spot? NU takes an R, and I have duplicate R, so let me put these on the board, something which I said in my Q&A that I didn't do. Well, I'm doing it now. Do I have any form of play which ends RA? If I had another E, I would have Epi-Ira. Wow, this is painful. I thought I might have something here. And nothing else goes after NU, nothing else goes after IT, and RA by itself isn't good. I don't have to play off the P. I'm genuinely looking for absolutely anything which plays in this spot. So, 10 minutes on my clock. Let me just put this back. What to do? Opponent is unlikely to bingo, but he could get a half-decent score. Well, I guess what I could do, let me check the remaining vowels. 12 out of 27, so slightly vowel dry, but pretty much an even bag. Only 2 E's to come, which is good. How about playing pair for only 12 points? Now, opponent may well play down from the P or across row M in order to create bingo lanes, but either way, he's not going to score massively. And my rack could mature into a bingo rack. And I'm turning over 4 tiles, so getting the turnover up is good with a blank unseen. But is there really no 5-letter play here? Even if it doesn't end in an A? Well, not that I can see. I am going with this. Wow, what a pickup. Now, if opponent does create a bingo lane. I am surely bingoing with this rack. This is immense. Absolutely fantastic. Now, there is a bingo lane in row M with a 4-tile overlap. Ner takes L, R, and S. And I do have an R. I don't feel that I'm likely to have a play underneath pair, though. It's the I which looks problematic, because only my N goes underneath that. So if I have an NR together, well, they don't feature in that order very often. Absolutely beautiful. Opponent creates a new bingo lane and I have a bingo. I have lingerie and I'm not creating any new bingo lane. And yeah, that's fine. Lingerie for 77 points. And that's a pretty good pickup. I draw the final S. Not many bingo lanes on the board. I think it's just row N through the L, but that will be providing access to this triple word square. And if opponent doesn't play there straight away, I could play tidy just to take out that lane or to hamper it significantly. I do have an I for going after the Q, so, well, I'm not seeing a 3-letter play which fits in that spot apart from RAI and the rack lever's Grim, so I'm unlikely to be doing that. I have a 130-point lead. Now Ner takes a D after it as well. Well, I was going to say I could play Dairy. 2 tiles in the bag. Do I want to play Tidy? What are the alternatives? TI takes nothing in front, so opponent hasn't provided anything fantastic. Just wondering about a DY play here. SUR is good. No, I'm not seeing anything. YU is good, but I think I'd like to play off more tiles. Tidy isn't great because I'm keeping 4 tiles. I'm drawing 2. Very difficult to play off 6 tiles on this board, although that could work in column 14. 24 points is good. 7 minutes on my clock. What can I do that's better than Tidy? Do I have anything ending in L? Or what about a play through the U? I'm not particularly bothered by opponent bingoing through this L. He's not going to win. I think the game is won. I'm 116 points ahead and I'm on turn. Well, I have the tiles for dysuria, but that doesn't work after the R. No, I'm not seeing anything better than RYU or YA. Should is good. Where else should I be looking? What about a play? What about putting a long play down first of all? Not seeing anything. Okay, well, the game is won. I have Dayar on my rack. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is suboptimal, but tidy for 24. And I have Dastard onto the D, so I do rather fortunately have an out in column 14 at the moment. And I've blocked Bone Meal, so fantastic. Tidy has come to the rescue. It stopped opponent bingoing through that L. I wonder if I had a play through the L. Well, I don't think I had a longer one than Tidy. Ah, opponent has spotted my out, or has inadvertently blocked it. I lead by 110. Do I have a bingo through this L? Don't think so. Daturas through the U, but that gets stuck with the I. Dastard beginning with the D of tidy doesn't quite work. So I don't think I'm going out. Is opponent going out with A-N-E? He's got Dean. And he's got Eend in column 14. So he is going out. I have one more turn. So what about playing Rads for 20? Well, I think so. I think so. I don't think there's anything massively better on offer. Or is there? Vegas is good. So what about a play through this E? This rack plus an E. Asted. No, that doesn't work. Any other lanes I've not considered? No, don't think so. So Rads for 420. And now I'm sure opponent will be going out. What if he doesn't? He is surely... Well, I have Moat for 12. Cat blocked by FY. And opponent has 9 minutes should he wish to use them to find the best out. I've seen Dean for 10 for him. What else is available? Anything through this R? Well, he's got Earn, but that doesn't get tripled. A-N-E doesn't work because Ra not good. Yeah, opponent plays Dean. And the final score, 345 for my opponent, 464 for me, a winning margin of 119 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, I've won a game. I've just been on a losing series, so it's great to be back to winning ways. Now, opponent to go first, and he has a bingo. Wow, Chigos. Tricky one to see. Plays Ego. And now I have Quaver, C7. That's where I played it. Opponent's rack. A million bingos. Plays Ashiest. Twerk. Ah, what a miss. Twerk would have been fantastic. 64 points. What a word to miss. Gosh, instead I played New, and I was really pleased with that. But Twerk, a whole lot better. Opponent's rack pretty grim. Plays Wax. And now Literacy available and Best, but Cryolite also available. And to be brutally frank, I don't think I would have spotted that. Opponent's rack. Plays Flock. And now I play Oof for 34. And I have a 40-point lead. Opponent's rack plays Ment. And this was a real boost. Pretty tight board. And just the one bingo available. Opponent's rack plays Trod. And now this was problematic. Zoe, I12. Oh, well, okay. That's the spot where I played Zip, but I prefer Zip because Zoe takes an S after it. So I think Zip better. Now, opponent has Vulgate. Nowhere for it. Plays Vega, which blocked my J spot. C11. Jobed down through the O. Interesting, 30 points. Yeah. That would have been worth considering. Instead, I get 25, 5 fewer points. Yeah, no particular reason to prefer the lowest point score, so I think column 11 would have been a better play. Opponent's rack plays Utah. And now I struggle to find a row L play, B14. Well, those are plays down onto the D, setting up column 15 plays, so I'm not a massive fan. But pair for 12, I'm dropping 10 points. And I'm taking out a lane which, well, there are no L's to come, so there isn't a Zeal spot and only one S, so perhaps I exaggerated the danger from the spot created by opponents, but that doesn't alter the fact that column 14 plays provide easy scoring spots in column 15, and this board is not awash with scoring spots. Now, opponent's rack plays pull, which is fantastic. I have lingerie for 77 and a whole bunch of other bingos. Horrible rack for opponent, and he's losing massively. Plays auto, and A2 Dialy. Oh wow, ELY, 53 points. And although that would have been worse than my actual play because opponent does have bone meal, I wonder how often opponent has bone meal, in the sense that maybe it's just better on average to play Dialy. However, if I play Dialy, does opponent have a double-double? It's possible. Well, I think there's a strong argument for playing tidy. It avoids having to go through quite a lot of calculations, which I would not be able to guarantee were accurate in terms of whether opponent, for example, had a triple-triple. Now, no bingo for opponent, plays Mobe. No out for me. I play Rads for 20. And finally, opponent goes out with Dean. So that was the end of that. What a fantastic game. Absolutely huge fun. Wide open game. Quite a few bingos going down. Great to spot that Hinnie's slotted in, and also good to see literacy through the A, not always an easy one to see. So many thanks to my opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.